and it's a blast. It's like going to an old-fashioned drive-in movie, but you bring your chairs instead of your car.
Okay, all right. All righty, Greg. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, too. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
McCurry-Dake Motors has been providing the stylish Buick for families for generations. Come browse a new selection and you'll find the car that everybody's talking about. The family-owned dealership is deeply entrenched in our community. They understand the needs of the customers and will work with them to find the perfect car, truck, or crossover for their lives. Experience the new Buick at McCurry-Dake Motors. Take a look around the website to learn more about everything offered at McCurry-Dake Motors, 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City.
When you want some sound facts about better hearing, go see Lisa Terry at Miracle Ear in Forest City. Millions of satisfied Miracle Ear customers worldwide, and there's no better or respected or well-known brand in hearing aids than Miracle Ear. Schedule your free hearing test by calling 828-368-4126. Now, you may want to ask about that Miracle Ear Genius 2.0 with the advanced technology. The high-def sound quality adapts to your surroundings automatically, zeroing in on conversations while reducing distracting background noises. It prevents those embarrassing whistling sounds that can occur sometimes. There's so many features that you'll appreciate about the Miracle Ear Genius 2.0. Ask Lisa Terry about it when you're ready for a positive change in your hearing. The Forest City office is at 1512 West Main Street, Suite 102, number 828-368-4126, or you can see them at the Shelby office at 1506 East Dixon Boulevard, and check them out on the web at www.miracle-ear-forestcitync.com, and they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We're in the Mount Vernon area checking in with Bob Hodge now. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good morning, Lou.
How are you this morning?
Oh, we're doing good up here this morning.
Good.
Looks like it's going to be another hot day up here, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it won't be long. Maybe you'll get your snow there or something and cool off there. So, we've had it hot now all week, so it's about time it's cooling off a little bit. For September, anyway. So.
Yeah, I've seen some trees. Those trees on Spindale Street, those poplar trees and the elm trees. You start looking toward the top of the trees, their leaves are starting to turn yellow.
I'm looking across the road here this morning. Some poplar trees are already turned yellow. Leaves are falling off, so I guess that's the sign it ain't gonna be too long to fall here. So and everything, but I'm looking forward to a little cooler weather there.
So am I.
Been hot for this time of year, for September. Well, Lou, up here over the weekend with the fire department, it's been pretty quiet. Hadn't had anything bad happen. We answered some medical calls, and that's about it. Things are running along real good up here this morning, and I hope you have a good day over there.
Hopefully, this time tomorrow morning, I can disclose that I have a new nephew. But right now, we're still in the holding pattern.
Oh, won't be long in.
No, we're waiting. If she's ready, then if not, they're going to have to induce labor. So
okay.
maybe later today we'll have a baby boy.
Well, maybe you will, and Imogene's got some stuff for it. Maybe she can get it by there, something a little later on. How long you gonna be over there this morning?
I'll be here at about 10 o'clock.
About 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
If she goes out that way, maybe she can bring it and let you take it over there.
Okay. If not, she can just leave it. If I'm not here, she can leave it. They'll put it in my office and lock it.
They can put it in your office if you're not there.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everything goes okay. And Lou, hope you have a good day. Look like you got an all-woman crew over there this morning.
Oh, yeah.
What you do, run the main office today?
Well, Jim always takes a vacation about this time every year whenever we get the newspapers out. So he always takes his vacation about this time. Todd's got pneumonia.
Pneumonia?
Yeah. And Tracy, I think, is taking it too because she doesn't sound all that great either. So I'm keeping the door shut and my fingers, come with the crawls to keep her away from me.
You better be careful then. Oh, man. That don't sound good.
No, it doesn't. No, not having pneumonia this early in the year.
Not this early in the year, no. Well, you all take care of yourself now, and we don't want you all to get down and get sick over there, so you take care.
All right.
Be careful.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
It's 7:30, and one of the places that we brag about a lot is the Washburn store. They've got some of the most unique things. You can walk in, just want to look around, not want to buy anything, and before you know it, you got an armload of stuff. They always carry garden seeds for whatever seasonal plant is time to plant. They carry the overalls, the pointer overalls. If they don't have your size, well, they can order your size for you. They've got the old garden hats. They've got bandanas. They've got the hoop cheese, that great stick candy. They've got Afghans made in North Carolina. And if you're sending kids back to college, yeah, we talk about the heat right now, but it's going to get cool. So it'd be nice to have one of those Afghans to throw across on the bed. Honey, garden push plows, seed spreaders, cookware, lady scarves. You never know what you're going to find at the Washburn store. And some of those unique toys we used to play with, the Tinker toys, the Lincoln building blocks, stuff that kids don't know that even exist anymore. I don't think you even find them in the store anymore. Well, chances are you'll find it at the Washburn store. They're in the Washburn community, so stop by. Checking out the Cherry Mountain area, checking in with Sue Price. Now, good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Lou.
Oh,
one of those days, huh?
Oh, I have switched shifts back and forth so much, I don't know which shift I'm on now.
Oh, me. Well, it'll be all right. You'll get there.
Yeah.
Still a little cloudy over here. I hadn't seen the sun pop out yet, but I guess it will after a while.
Oh, it was beautiful when I came out this morning at 5 o'clock. Stars everywhere.
Moon's pretty too. Well, let's see. I don't have any birthdays on my church calendar. Let's see if I've got anything on my personal calendar. No, I don't believe I do. Fairview's got birthdays for Jace Overcash and Sage Overcash, so hope they'll have a good day today. And nothing on First Broads. So not too many to celebrate. No, we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day. And I'm sorry to hear it about Todd. That's too bad. That pneumonia's rough stuff. I've had it.
Yeah, it took you a long time to get over it.
Well, let's see. We got the community revival coming up at Sunshine School. That will start on the 22nd and go through the 27th. And on Sunday the 22nd, it's at 6 o'clock, and the rest of the week it's at 7. So get ready for that. We always have a good time with the community revival. And so far, I think that's the only announcement I have. It's quiet and calm over here, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Lou.
You too, Sue, and we'll talk to you in the morning.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye.
When choosing a hospital or a health system, you should ask what quality and patient safety efforts are being implemented in that organization. For example, at Rutherford Regional Health System, several new quality and patient safety initiatives have been set in place to ensure an even greater level of care for its patients. Under the guidance of the Due Quality Network, Rutherford Regional has begun bedside shift reporting, which emphasizes better face-to-face communication with patients and families. Patient safety huddles also have been started to allow caregivers the opportunity twice a day to review risks of infection, falls, and other harms. An executive patient safety rounding allows our administrators to make sure our clinical staff has the tools they need to deliver great care. Rutherford Regional is proud to make quality and patient safety its top priorities.
People who know best know the wise shoppers go to Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply for several reasons. The prices are better, the choices are greater, and you will like the service you get. Right now, you can enjoy special pricing on assorted deer products. Also purchase fish mocks, 100 count, 250 milligram, only $15.99 at Farmer's Friend. Better pricing on value-packed dog food. George has used farm equipment you should see before you buy someplace else. Refill your 20-pound propane tank for $10.99. Now that's a great value. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, located 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherford.
Well, the Drop-In has been in business for 38 years. They started their business when Ronald Reagan was president, and home mortgage rates were 17.5%. A few things have changed, but the Drop-In is still in business and giving you great buys and great values every day. Check out some of these specials. 28-ounce body armor, 2 for $4. 28-ounce Powerade, 2 for $2. Ethanol-free gas sold at the Drop-In in Shiloh and in Sandy Mush. Don't forget the Super Deli specials. Small garden salad, only $3.49. Hot hunk of pizza with a 32-ounce tea, $3.49. A chicken strip, 2 hot wings, 2 potato wedges and a roll, $3.49. 2 bacon and egg biscuits, $3.49, and a single-size drop-in pizza, only $7.99. All this and more, that's at the Drop-In. And now we are in the Union Mills area checking in with Brenda. Morning, Brenda.
Good morning. How are you? You having a time of it, ain't you?
Yeah, I am.
But that's all right. It's Monday, so you can blame it on it being Monday.
That's right. Just blame it on being Monday.
That's right. But you're doing a fine job, and we appreciate it.
No, thank you, Brenda. That's sweet of you to say. Thank you.
But we hope that Todd gets better. Like Sue said, it's early to be having that, but, you know, I saw on the news one day last week where they've already got a flu outbreak down at North Carolina State.
Yeah.
So, and that's early. So I hope that ain't telling us that we're going to have a bad winter as far as sickness.
You know, I didn't pay any attention. They always say watch, let's see, in Australia, whatever their flu season is, that's what ours is going to be. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's Australia. They watch there, but I don't know where. I feel like there's been too much going on here lately. I hadn't had time to.
You'll have to Google that and see.
Yeah, I gotta get my brain. Of course, Tom retired, and then Tom retired. Then we had a trainee, and then the newspapers, and then everything else, and I don't know. Sometimes I don't know where my.
Who took Tom's place? I missed his being retired, and finally I thought, well, Tom must have retired because he. But whoever's doing that in the afternoon's doing a good job.
His name is Kevin Pleasant.
Kevin Pleasant. Well, that's a nice name. Yeah, but he's doing a fine job, so that's good. Well, let's see. I've got 62 degrees on the front porch this morning. Birthdays and anniversaries today. I've got Wyndon Logan, Buddy Campbell, Clinton Chastity Calhoun anniversary, Mackenzie J. Teague, and Aubrey Ellenberg birthdays. I don't have any birthdays on around here, but they do have a community club meeting tonight at 6 p.m. And then ways of announcements, Gilkey School Community Center will have a buffet breakfast. That'll be this Saturday, the 14th, starting at 7 a.m. and going to 10 a.m. Adults $6, kids 6 to 12 $3, kids 5 and under free, and money goes to help support the community center. And then Friends for a Cure gets cancer inside yard sale. Proceeds go to Relay for Life, September the 21st, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Location, Dyersville Community Building on Clubhouse Road between 226 South and Bang Mountain Road. And so far, that's all I know of that's going on.
All righty, Brenda. And there you go, coughing.
Well, no, I have sinus drainage, and when I get up in the mornings, it takes me forever to get it all cleared out. But I did go to the doctor Thursday because it was my checkup, and they had their flu shot, so I went ahead and got mine, and I hope it's not too early. They said it wasn't, but I thought, well, that outbreak down there at North Carolina State, and it don't take long for it to go from one to the other, and I sure don't want the flu. No. I like to died last year with it. I had it twice.
Yes, you did. I remember that.
Yeah,
you had a bad time with that mess.
Mm-hmm. I was so sick I couldn't even hardly.
There's a few days you couldn't even do the report.
I know it. I couldn't. That's right. So, you know, but I'm just praying that the Lord will bless me with good health again this flu season, and I hope Todd gets better real soon.
Did you take the flu shot last year?
I most certainly did. I took a flu shot when I went to work at Fairhaven in 1992. I'd never had a flu shot, and I didn't take one that year. But I got sick. I can't remember if it was 93 or 94, but I'm thinking it was 94 with the flu, and I have took a flu shot ever since. And I did not have the flu till last year, and the year before I had it 2 years in a row.
That's me. I took the flu shot last year, and I took the flu.
But that's
the first time. But that's the first time, though. The first time.
Yeah.
They really can't go by.
Yeah, it's a guessing game. They don't know what type's going to be coming in. They just do the best they can to make the best shot. But they still say, even if you get it, it's better to have had the shot than not had the shot. If I hadn't had the shot, I probably would have died.
Yeah, and I've had the flu before and not had the flu shot, and I missed 2 weeks of work one time because of it. But
I know.
Last year I got it and took the flu, and I felt fine after about 2 or 3 days after I started taking the Tamiflu. I was feeling a whole lot better.
It's just it's a terrible thing, and the real young and the older like me, it's rough on them, and it can take you out of this world.
Yep.
But we just pray that everything's going to be all right.
Yep.
That's all we can do. And I hope your nephew gets here safe and sound.
I hope he does too. I'm waiting on that phone call.
There's a lady in our church this morning. They was going to induce her labor starting at 6 o'clock, and she's going to have a little girl. This will make her 4 little girls.
No. Now they got a little girl. She's 10, so they waited a while before they had another one.
Yeah. Well, her oldest one, I think, will be 12 this month. I'm not sure, but I do know she's at least 11 and a half. And then the next one is 6, and then the next one is 17 months. So she's going to have 2 babies here together.
Ooh, that's close.
That ain't good.
That's close.
Yeah, it is. But, Lou, I don't know of anything else going on, and it's good to have you on the morning report, and we hope Jim has a nice vacation and get back to some normal here pretty soon.
Yep, that's what we need. Whatever normal is around here.
There ain't no normal there, are they?
No, there ain't.
Oh,
talk to you in the morning.
Okay, have a good one. See you later.
You know, when you need a plumber, you want someone with a reputation of getting right out to you and getting the job done for you the right way. That'll be Olmsted Plumbing. Since 1973, the Olmsted family has been serving homeowners and builders with the best of service. From unclogging a drain to replacing fixtures and appliances to remodeling jobs, their top quality work, fair prices, and punctual service has made them the area's leading plumbing firm. Eric and Chad are continuing that family tradition, and they'd like to serve you. Call 245-7302. Experience plus equipment equals excellence. Olmsted Plumbing at 245-7302.
Phone lines are open. Tracy's out there ready to take your call for birthdays and anniversaries. 287-3356. 287-3356, the number to call. Get your birthdays and anniversaries in, and somebody's going to win a dozen donuts from Granny B's. Time to make our last stop, and we're in Ellenboro checking in with Luther this morning. Good morning, Luther.
Good morning, you too. I hope you're having a good time.
I am. You?
Hey, I'm having a great time down here. We drinking coffee and eating eggs, biscuits, and all that stuff, and watching the sun. Well, we trying to find the sun. It's a little cloudy out there this morning.
Well, it was clear when I came out. The clouds just all of a sudden just started moving in.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get some rain here. I don't know. But it's good. We've had a good day. I had a good weekend, too. Later around, did nothing all weekend, and boy, I'm glad to get to go back to work on Monday. Let's see, the fire department had 4 calls, had 2 medical calls, had one that set up one bandage zone for Cliffside. Had a bad accident down there Saturday morning. We went down and set up a bandage zone there at the church, and they said they had one wire down in the road. Somebody lost the wheel of the wire. They got it out of the road. Other than that, things are quiet down this morning. Nothing going on down here. One wish happy birthday. See Randy Harmon, he's having birthday today. And Miss Sandra Weeks down here, she's having a birthday. And Kathy Murray's having a birthday today. So hope these 3 people have a great day and enjoy their day. If nothing else happening down here, hope you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you next time.
All righty, Luther. Be careful.
All right, take care now.
All right, bye-bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
When you call a pest control company, you want to make sure they have honest and dependable experience. Hutchins Pest Control has all those qualities and more. 45 years experience in pest control service, now including moisture control, waterproofing, mold remediation, dehumidification, and more. Get rid of mice, rats, wildlife, fire ants, bed bugs, and termites. Call today for residential and commercial service. 287-5171. Voted best of best for 9 years. That's Hutchins Pest Control.
We're being kind today to Sharon Loveless. Sharon is retired. She lives in the Sunshine area. She's 63 today. So if you know Sharon, make sure you wish her a very, very happy birthday today. Birthdays and anniversaries, got the phone lines open, 287-3356. 287-3356, that's the number to call. Tracy's still taking down birthdays and anniversaries. Had to help her. We've got a bunch of birthdays and anniversaries being called in today. Get yours called in, and somebody is going to get a dozen donuts from Granny B's.
Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. Yes, that'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave. You know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Well, you give me all your loving and your hurt of loving, all your hugs and kisses and your money too. Well, you know you love me, baby. Still you tell me maybe that someday, well, I'll be through. Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. Yes, that'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave. You know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. When you say goodbye, yes, that'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave. You know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Well, when Cupid shot his dart, he shot it at your heart. So if we ever part, then I'll leave you. You You sit and hold me and you tell me boldly that someday, well, I'll be through. Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. Yes, that'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave, you know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Well, that'll be the day. Ooh, ooh, that'll be the day. Ooh, ooh, that'll be the day. Ooh, ooh, that'll be the day.
Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds sing so gay? And love is my way to break the day. Why do they fall in love? Why does the rain fall from up above? Why do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love? Love is a losing game, and love can be a shame. I know of a fool you see, oh, that fool is me. Tell me why. Tell me why. Why do birds sing so gay? And love is my way to break the day. Why do they fall in love? Why does the rain fall from up above? Why do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love? Why does my heart skip a crazy beat? For I know it will reach the beat. Tell me why. Tell me why. Why do fools fall in love?
1956, Frankie Lyman, Why Do Fools Fall in Love on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB Rutherford. 9 minutes before 8 o'clock, got a dozen donuts we're going to give away in about 5 minutes or so. Still getting a lot of birthdays and anniversaries called in, so we're going to keep the phone lines open. 287-3356, 287-3356. Get your birthdays and anniversaries called in, and in about 4 minutes, going to see who wins that dozen donuts from Granny B's. And want to remind you that Granny's is now hiring. They do need some help. And if you're looking for a job, you can apply at Granny's or call at 828-216-0257.
Cause I'm a love man. Ooh, baby, I'm a love man. That's what they call me, I'm a love man. Big old love man. 6 feet 1 weight 210. Long hair, pretty fair skin. I'm long-legged and I'm a outside. My baby, I wanna take you on 'cause I'm a love man. Ooh, baby, I'm a love man.
Hi today to Sharon Lovelace. Sharon lives in Sunshine, celebrating her 63rd birthday today. So if you know Sharon, make sure you wish her a very, very happy birthday. Sue Sperlin, celebrating her birthday today. She works at Royster Oil Company. Of course, Sharon Lovelace, celebrating her birthday today. Loretta Rhodes is 64 today. Chris Owenby, Nancy Day, celebrating a birthday today. Gabriel McNeely is 14, and he goes to Thomas Jefferson. Bailey Connor, a student at East Middle, celebrating a birthday today. Emma and Beth Owens, they are 15 students at RS Central, and yep, they're twins. Kathy Guffey, Nancy Dyer of Bostic, Sandra Crawley of Forest City, Paige Blanton, all celebrating birthdays today. Also celebrating birthdays on this 9th day of September, Gwendolyn Logan, Buddy Campbell, Clint and Chastity Calhoun, Mackenzie Teague, and Aubrey Ellenberg celebrating birthdays today. So happy birthday to all these folks. And for those of you who didn't get your birthday or anniversary called in, that's okay. We wish you a very, very happy birthday and hope you have a wonderful day today. We'll see who wins that dozen donuts in just a minute.
In her book, Team of Rivals, Doris Goodwin tells how President Lincoln was a man who tried to save a wayward soldier, if at all possible, by finding some good traits in him. He was fond of telling the story about a soldier who, when asked why he had run away, said, "Well, Captain, it was not my fault. I have got just as brave a heart as Julius Caesar, but these legs of mine will always run away with me when the battle begins." Fear is a crippling phobia, which has caused the demise of more than one person. However, the Bible repeatedly tells us not to be afraid regardless of the situation. Jesus reminded his early followers that they would be ruthlessly prosecuted and brought before kings and governors, but he goes on to say to them, "But make up your mind not to worry beforehand how you will defend yourselves, for I will give you words and wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to resist or contradict." Wow, if they were not to be afraid or worry when their life hung in the balance, why do I need to be afraid or worry? Simply trusting the details of my life to an all-powerful God who loves me and cares about me is a terrific solution to fear. I confess, it's not always easy, but it does get better with practice. Our legs will hold us steady if we trust him. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
Congratulations to Emma and Beth Owens, twin sisters, 15 today, students at RS Central. Congratulations, they won the Daylight Donuts this morning from Granny B's.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Fears of a mass shooting now in the minds of 6 in 10 Americans. They tell a new ABC News Washington Post poll they are worried about it happening in their community. Here's ABC News political director Rick Klein.
By a pretty wide margin, 58% to 41%, people think that there are gun laws that would reduce gun violence. They think there are things that could get done. And on some of these things, there's just overwhelming support. I mean, when you start talking about things like banning high-capacity ammunition, universal background checks, so-called red flag laws that allow people to petition a judge to say that someone should not have a gun, there is enormous, overwhelming support.
Congress getting back to work today after the summer recess, and ABC's Trevor Ault says you need to hammer out deals on spending bills by October 1st.
Lawmakers are also expected to push for stricter gun regulations, a movement which temporarily gained steam during the recess, but any momentum could be dead on arrival, with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell refusing to bring any bill up for a vote unless he knows the president would sign it.
4 people still missing in a huge cargo ship that tipped over off the Georgia coast.
The 650-foot ship, the Golden Ray, was carrying vehicles and had just departed Brunswick, Georgia for Baltimore when it made a turn and started listing, eventually flipping onto its side. In Coast Guard radio communications captured by Broadcastify,
not everything accounted for. Nobody's been seen in the water.
Search crews have heard tapping on the hull of the disabled ship, and while it could be coming from 4 missing crew members, a spokesman says it could also be sounds of the rescue effort itself. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The searches continue for the missing in the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian. ABC's Marcus Moore is there.
This storm knocked out critical infrastructure like police stations and clinics, and many people we've met have said they feel like they were abandoned. And Marsh Harbor, where we rode out the storm this time last week, it is a ghost town.
Officials in the Bahamas say the death toll from the hurricane officially stands at 45. You're listening to ABC News.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. With a call to National Tax Helpline, you can stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, call now for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Tax Helpline, 800-805-1055. That's 800-805-1055 for free information. 800-805-1055. That's 800-805-1055.
With the clock ticking toward Brexit at the end of October, the British Prime Minister has been speaking this morning.
You solved the border issue with Ireland, you solved the Brexit impasse. But that's easier said than done. Nevertheless, Boris Johnson, on a trip to Dublin, says,
I want to get a deal.
As to a no-deal exit option,
that outcome would be a failure of statecraft for which we would all be responsible.
His Irish counterpart says he's open to alternative plans, but
they must be realistic ones, legally binding and workable. And we haven't received such proposals to date.
Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Pope Francis visiting Africa today, speaking out against corruption.
Pope Francis spoke out against practices that lead to the culture of privilege and exclusion and criticized those who put family ties first, which can lead to favoritism, patronage, and corruption, the Pope said. Francis delivered his message to a crowd of 1 million worshippers in Madagascar on Sunday before flying to the tiny island of Mauritius on Monday. Like Mozambique and Madagascar, Mauritius is also poverty-stricken. It's also a tax haven renowned for being where the rich of the global south hide their money. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
When it comes to music, what's old is about to be new again. If trends continue, sales of vinyl records will outpace sales of CDs this year. It'd be the first time that's happened since 1986. This is ABC News.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm a dog person.
I'm Clara, and I'm a cat person.
As a dog person, I wear Bobs for Dogs from Skechers because with every pair sold, Skechers makes a donation to the Petco Foundation to help save sheltered dogs.
As a cat person, I wear Bobs because they've already saved over 240,000 sheltered pets, including cats.
But I like that you can find Bobs at over 600 Petco stores.
I prefer to buy them online at Skechers.com.
Let's just agree that we both like Bobs.
Agreed.
Bobs for Dogs from Skechers. Available at Petco, Skechers, and wherever stylish shoes are sold.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Good Monday morning. Another hot day in the forecast with highs climbing into the upper 80s to lower 90s this afternoon. Partly sunny skies are expected today with some scattered storms developing by the afternoon and evening. An isolated storm can't be ruled out overnight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with lows in the upper 60s to lower 70s. And tomorrow, partly sunny with a 20% chance of a storm. Highs tomorrow climb into the upper 80s to lower 90s. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
And I'm Lou Gillum in the Blue Room. Taking a look at that extended forecast. Partly cloudy for Wednesday. Scattered thunderstorms. Highs around 90 to 95 degrees. Partly cloudy overnight. More scattered thunderstorms. Lows around 70. Thursday, partly cloudy, isolated showers and thunderstorms, highs again 90 to 95. It's just a slight chance of rain, just a 20% chance. Partly cloudy overnight, isolated showers, lows around 70. For Friday, a little cooler, partly cloudy, highs 85 to 90 degrees, a 50% chance of something. Partly cloudy, scattered showers, lows around 70. And the weekend for Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy both days, scattered showers, highs around 85, overnight lows around 65 degrees. 6 minutes past 8 o'clock. 67 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Being kind today to Sharon Lovelace. Sharon is retired. She's 63 today, lives in the Sunshine area. If you know Sharon, wish her a very, very, very happy birthday because today is her day. And happy birthday and congratulations to Emma and Beth Owens, twin sisters. They're 15 today, students at RS Central, and they won the dozen donuts this morning from Granny B's. And Granny B's is now hiring. If you need a job, you can apply at Granny's on Main Street in Spindale or call 828-216-0257. Well, in Braves baseball yesterday, the Braves and the Nationals, final score 9-4 after the Braves beat the Nationals Saturday night 5-4. Tar Heels on Saturday beat Miami, final score 28-25, and then the Panthers lost yesterday to the Rams, final score 30-27. Coming up tonight, we got Braves baseball, Braves and the Phillies, 5:50 airtime, and we will jump in and join the pregame show. Braves and the Phillies tomorrow night and Wednesday night. Then on Thursday night, we have Braves baseball, Braves and the Phillies. 6 o'clock will be the airtime if you've got one of the schedules. It says 5:50. However, they have changed that. We will join them. Airtime is 6 o'clock, but we'll join them, jump in right after Channel 13 News. Friday night, high school football Friday night. Christ the King will be at Thomas Jefferson. 6:45 countdown to kickoff. East Henderson will be at Chase. East has a bye week. RS Central will be at Chesney. And should maybe some of these possible thunderstorms, thunder showers move into the area and affect high school football on Friday night, we do have a backup plan. Tar Heels and Wake Forest, however, high school football is our number one priority on Friday night. Then on Saturday, we have the Braves at 2:50. We have a race at 7, the DC Solar 300 from Las Vegas. On Sunday, we have the Braves and the Nationals, 12:20. And then at 6 o'clock, we have the South Point 400 from the Las Vegas Speedway. So Braves baseball, high school football, back to Braves baseball, then we're going racing, then we got Braves baseball, and back to racing. So we got a busy, busy week and weekend. Something for everybody right here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB Rutherford. We'll take a look at news right after this.
Eastwood Village is sponsoring a series called Meeting Retirement Challenges. The third session is How to Stay Healthy as You Age. This session will be led by Dr. Matthew Moy from Inpatient Consultants of North Carolina in Asheville. The session will be held on Tuesday, September 24th from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 at Eastwood Village Clubhouse, 110 Eastwood Village Drive, Bostic, just off Highway 74 Business. The session by Dr. Moy will cover ways to age in a healthy fashion and how to have more energy as you age. There will be tips for healthy eating and easy ways to get in more exercise and how this can improve your overall health. Dr. Moy will allow time at the end for questions. The session is free, but seating is limited. If you'd like to attend, please call 828-429-0742 or 429-2279 and reserve your spot.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt at Insurance Service Associates, about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301 at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
Shop Jay's Discount Grocery for your grocery needs and save big money. Incredible savings on everything in the store. Famous name brands arriving daily at a fraction of the cost. Fresh fruits and vegetables on Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. Jay's has delicious steaks, pork chops, roast, cut fresh daily. Open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 7, Friday and Saturday, 8 to 8, closed on Sundays. EBT and debit cards are welcome. And don't forget to check out Jay's on Facebook for daily specials. Located at 671 Oak Street in Forest City behind the Hospice Resale Shop. Call 828-382-0457. Shop Jay's and walk out with a pocket full of savings. Well, during the morning report this morning, you heard Greg talking about the Dirty Dancing Festival coming up. What began as a spontaneous candlelight vigil has turned into a beloved festival. The 10th anniversary celebration, September the 13th and 14th, promises to, quote, knock it out of the park. In 1986, filming began for the classic coming-of-age movie Dirty Dancing around the old Chimney Rock Park Boys Camp on the shores of Lake Lure. When the star of the movie, Patrick Swayze, died of pancreatic cancer in 2009, Michelle Yelton, president and co-founder of the McConnell Group, held a candlelight vigil. 1,000 people showed up. Yelton and her friend Joe Byersfeder decided then to create a festival. The Dirty Dancing Festival is a nonprofit fundraising event whose goal is to raise awareness, support, and resources for the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, called PanCan, and the Chamber of Hickory Nut Gorge. It's held in Morse Park Meadows in Lake Lure. In 2016, the Chamber decided to make it a locally owned event and purchased the rights to the festival. Bryant said that they expect about 7,500 people to attend the event throughout the course of the weekend. People come from 6 foreign countries and 34 states to take part in the festival and just to see where the movie was filmed. Been a lot of specials this weekend on Patrick Swayze and the making of the Dirty Dancing movie. So that would be another generation growing up to see where the movie was filmed. Right here in our little Rutherford County in Lake Lure. Well, St. Luke's Hospital is raising awareness on suicide prevention. September is National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month, and St. Luke's Hospital's Senior Life Solutions Program is working to raise awareness. According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, an average of 129 deaths by suicide occur per day, and there are an estimated 1,400,000 suicide attempts per year. Talk of suicide should never be dismissed. If you or someone you know is thinking of suicide, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. If you or a loved one is interested in seeking help through the St. Luke's Awareness on Suicide, you can contact Paula Hipp at 828-894-9890. Well, the red bins owned by Better World Recycling will again be placed at the 10 Rutherford County convenience centers after county commissioners approved a new contract for the company to collect old clothes and other textiles. In July, after seeking bids for companies wishing to collect textiles at the county-owned and operated convenience centers whose residents without municipal trash pickup may take their trash, Planet Aid was chosen to provide the textile collection service. However, later in July, the company, which is based in Maryland, informed local officials unexpectedly said they will not be able to fulfill the contract, citing unforeseen circumstances. The Planet Aid officials stated in an email to James Kilgo, Rutherford County Solid Waste Director, "It is with much disappointment that we are unable to move forward with the textile recycling contract presented. Better World had previously provided the service for the past 2 years, but the company did not initially respond when it was time to renew the contract. The company will pay the county for the textiles collected at a rate of 10 cents per pound. Better World Recycling is based in Salisbury." And also from our Daily Courier, the city of Marion is celebrating the world's greatest hide-and-seek player, Bigfoot. during the second annual Western North Carolina Bigfoot Festival. This will be Friday, September the 13th, and Saturday, September the 14th. Starting at dusk on Friday, visitors can bring their lawn chairs to West Court Street in downtown Marion and enjoy an open-air screening of the 1987 classic Harry and the Hendersons, starring John Lithgow, sponsored by the Mountain Marquee Theater. Then on Saturday the 14th, the festival kicks off with a Bigfoot chase 5K run at 8 a.m. Participants will make their way through parts of Marion where they might see Bigfoot himself. Finishers will receive a medal, T-shirt, and a custom gift from the Makery in Marion. Advanced registration is encouraged for this event. At 10 a.m., the festival's opening ceremony will begin with the City of Marion Mayor Steve Little presenting a proclamation naming Bigfoot Marion's official animal. Following Mayor Little's proclamation, visitors will get a rundown of the day's schedule of activities from event organizers and have a chance to enter their names into a drawing to compete during the festival's Bigfoot calling contest. I don't think I would want to do that. They may just, the legend may be coming out of the woodwork somewhere. Coming up at 8:30 this morning, right after sports, Word of Faith Responds. That's this morning here on WCAB. And we've got that sheriff's report coming up right after this.
More than 1 million Americans have heart attacks each year, and if you or a loved one experiences symptoms of a heart attack, every second matters. Heart attack symptoms include discomfort, heaviness, or pain in the chest, arm, or below the breastbone. You may also experience sweating, nausea, dizziness, weakness, anxiety, or shortness of breath. At the first sign of a heart attack, you should call 911 and be treated immediately at the nearest hospital. The best time to treat a heart attack is within 1 to 2 hours of the first onset of symptoms. That's why the Emergency Department at Rutherford Regional Health System has become a chest pain accredited facility. That means quality care here at home that could save precious seconds when treating the symptoms of heart attack. To learn more about Rutherford Regional and its commitment to save quality care, visit myrutherfordregional.com.
Hello from all of us at Smith's Drugs in downtown Forest City. Check out our newly remade website at smithsdrugsfc.com and see how you can download our mobile app to make refilling your prescription so easy. You can create multiple profiles for everyone in your family and send refill notices anytime, saving you from calling in or leaving messages. Check out our Facebook page and see new items from the gift shop and on-sale items that can include t-shirts, leggings, shoes, toys, and other seasonal gifts. Our home medical equipment department at Smith's Drugs has all of your CPAP therapy needs for supplies that include filters, tubings, and masks, as well as our 2 respiratory therapists to help you get the full benefits of your CPAP and answer any questions or concerns that you are having. We also have lift chairs, diabetic shoes, and offer mastectomy services here at Smith's Drugs. Also, we have daily specials in our old-fashioned soda fountain at just $3.99 for breakfast and $5.99 for lunch. And we can help you with some fried pound cake and ice cream or milkshakes for dessert. We also want to thank all of Rutherford County for your loyal support and trust that has allowed us to serve you since 1939. Thank you to Rutherford County and Forest City from all of us at Smith's Drugs at 139 East Main Street.
19 minutes past 8 o'clock. Here's that sheriff's report recorded earlier for broadcast at this time. With that sheriff's report, here is Officer Suttles.
Sheriff's Office has answered 244 calls for service. We've had 17 arrests, currently housing 171 in the jail. For incident reports, Elizabeth Stamper reported assault on female, damage to property. Foy Gibson reported larceny of a motor vehicle. Same was a Honda Accord. Christopher Logan reported breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. For arrest, Stephen Scruggs was charged with possession of controlled substance in the jail, simple possession of Schedule 2 controlled substance, simple possession of Schedule 4 controlled substance, and drug paraphernalia. He was given a $2,500 secure bond. Michael Harper was charged with failure to comply, failure to appear a misdemeanor. He was given a $1,518.27 secure bond. Robbie Edney was charged with resisting public officer, disorderly conduct, misdemeanor possession of Schedule 6 controlled substance, given a $1,000 secure bond. Jermaine Lytle was charged with possession of firearm by felon, assault on female, misdemeanor child abuse. He was given an other bond. James Pruitt was charged with misdemeanor larceny, obtaining property by false pretense, give $2,000 secure bond. Kaylee Collins was charged with domestic criminal trespass, injury to personal property. She was given no bond. And that's all I have for you this morning.
That's Officer Suttles with the Sheriff's Department with that Sheriff's Report. You can hear the Sheriff's Report again this afternoon just after 5:08 as part of the afternoon call-around report. Well, the body of a 22-year-old man who drowned in Lake Norman was found yesterday morning by the North Carolina wildlife officers. According to the Shelby Daily Star, the man drowned Saturday evening after his life jacket slipped off. According to Alan Vang, an officer with the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission, the commission leads investigations into deaths on the state's waterways. Emergency crews recovered the body just after 11:30 yesterday morning, according to Vang. The man had been with 9 friends on a boat in the Hagers Creek area of the lake in southern Iredell County when he jumped into the water, that according to multiple news outlets. Well, 4 elementary school teachers who were placed on leave after a photo of them smiling and holding a noose circulated on social media were not motivated by racism and were unaware of the pain and hurt it would cause the Palmdale School District community, an investigator concluded in a new report. But the actions of the Summerwind elementary school teachers back in May were ignorant, lacked judgment, exhibited a gross disregard for professional decorum in a school setting, that according to a report that was released on Friday. The photo sparked a public outcry. The teachers were placed on paid administration leave while investigators looked into the matter. The district also held a town hall meeting to address community concerns. The principal, who took the picture on her phone, resigned in July. The first grade teachers told the investigator that the photo was meant as a, quote, hang in there until summer, unquote, joke, bemoaning that it was almost the end of the school year and that we had reached the end of our rope. The principal and all 4 teachers who remain unnamed in the report said they had no knowledge of the racial hatred a noose symbolizes. One teacher, whose family often attends rodeos, said her first thought when she saw the noose was the Wild West. Upon deeper reflection, she thought that someone could be offended by the picture if that person, quote, had a family member that had committed suicide, unquote. Another didn't know what a noose was until texting her husband, who responded by sending a link to a web page explaining its significance. David Garcia, a spokesman for the school district, said that the district leaders are reviewing the report and will decide on disciplinary action for each of the teachers. According to the 35-page report, the noose was discovered while the 4 teachers were going through a dusty storage room for items that they could use in their classrooms. It was like a treasure hunt, one of them said. And they went through some old random stuff like cassette players and decorative glass skirts, as well as some useful decorations. One teacher found the noose and began joking about it and said they still had so much work to do before the end of the school year that they came up with the hang in there until summer, they joked, we've reached the end of our rope. Some media outlets incorrectly reported that the first grade teachers took the picture with the noose to celebrate the conviction and sentencing of the defendants in the Gabriel Hernandez case. Those media reports were false, and there is no truth to them, according to the reports, and no connection between this incident and the Gabriel Hernandez incident. They could have used something else, like the old one that had the kitty cat that's hanging on to a rope with a knot in the bottom that says, hang in there, baby. That could have been a whole lot simpler to use. Word of Faith response coming up next. We're joining sports from NCNN.
Offensive score, you get the ball down to their 35 in the first half twice and come away with no points. You can't miss those opportunities.
Had the unfortunate turnover, obviously, but we got to learn to overcome those things. And, when we have adversity early, we got to bounce back.
It's one game. Obviously, it's not the start we wanted, but we did some good things, but we just need to clean some stuff up.
Christian McCaffrey led the Panthers Sunday with 209 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. He says now the focus is Tampa Bay, who they have to prepare for now. They're playing Thursday night.
Quick turnaround, obviously, with the Thursday night game, so we got to have a short-term memory and move on to them.
Tampa Bay, they also lost on Sunday. The 49ers better in the second half, beat the Bucs in Tampa. Elsewhere in the NFC South, the Vikings also dumped the Falcons, so the Panthers haven't lost too much ground. The Saints yet to play, though. They're hosting the Texans tonight in the opener of a Monday Night Football doubleheader. The Broncos are in Oakland for the nightcap. Tom Brady showed he's still got what it takes. His 42-year-old arm passing for 341 yards and 3 scores as he led New England in a 33-3 romp over the Steelers last night. Meanwhile, CBS News' Deborah Rodriguez says referees weren't letting anything go on Sunday.
Tempers flared on the first Sunday of the NFL season.
Personal foul, swing and contact, number 44. That player had been disqualified.
A total of 3 players were ejected, including Jacksonville's Miles Jack, who got the boot for throwing a punch at a Chiefs player.
This is NCN Sports.
Medicaid expansion, school safety, a statewide view. Visit CarolinaJournal.com today.
You're no stranger to hard work. If you were, you wouldn't be here. But is here really where you want to be? Whether you're done just making ends meet, ready to start a new career, or want to go farther in the one you have, North Carolina community colleges are ready for you. They have the courses, real-world learning opportunities, and partnerships with local businesses to get you the education you need and the career you want. Stop settling. Choose a higher education focused on getting you hired. North Carolina community colleges, your higher education.
A timely pit stop leads to a victory at the Brickyard.
Kevin Harvick dominated the final race of NASCAR's regular season, leading 118 of 160 laps at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Harvick led 5 different times during the race, but it was a pit strategy call that got him out front for the final time, and he drove away from a trailing Joey Logano, who finished second.
Luckily, the caution came out, and it worked out perfect for us.
For his part, Logano said he may have been able to catch Harvick, but that's not the same as passing, and he was relegated to the runner-up spot. Bubba Wallace finished third, his best run of the season, with William Byron and Clint Boyer rounding out the top 5. Jerry Jordan, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson's perfect playoff run is coming to a close. He was the only driver ever to qualify for every Cup playoff race since the format was introduced in 2004. Not this time. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Good Monday morning. Another hot day in the forecast with highs climbing into the upper 80s to lower 90s this afternoon. Partly sunny skies are expected today with some scattered storms developing by the afternoon and evening. An isolated storm can't be ruled out overnight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with lows in the upper 60s to lower 70s. And tomorrow, partly sunny with a 20% chance of a storm. Highs tomorrow climb into the upper 80s to lower 90s. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series of programs will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you again for joining us. This is Mark with Word of Faith Fellowship. We're so glad you're listening. We have so enjoyed sharing with you about Jesus and all the things that He's done in our lives. And today, I want to share with you about a very important message. If you're going through any suffering right now, if you're going through any trials, if you're running into any troubles during your day, your problems may be big, they may be small, but whatever you're going through, I have some wonderful news for you. And that is that as you're going through all of your sufferings and struggles, whatever it is in your life's journey today, I want to tell you that God actually wants to use all of the things you're going through, and He wants to bring you through it to a place where you're going to know Him like you've never known Him before. And it's a different way of looking at every time you go into a suffering, every time you have a trial, every time there's some kind of trouble in your life. You may be facing financial problems. You may be facing health problems. You may know a family member who's going through difficult times. There may be all kinds of things going on in your life or the lives of people around you. But I want to tell you that today God wants you to know that whatever it is you're going through, He is going to make you strong, and He is going to bring you through it, and He wants you to come out of it knowing Him, knowing His power, knowing His grace, and knowing more about who you really are in God like never before. And I want to share with you an example about someone in the Bible who probably went through some of the greatest suffering that we know of, other than Jesus Christ. We know He bore our sins and went to the cross, but there was somebody else in the Old Testament who went through some of the greatest testings and trials that I have read about. And his name is Job. And you can find him in the book of Job. And we're going to start with Job chapter 1. Verse 1, and it says that there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and abstained from evil. How many of us can say and identify with that? That's a pretty high standard. God says this about him, that he was blameless and upright, and he stayed away from evil. Now, Job was an actual man that really existed in history. Historians place him sometime between 2000 BC to 1000 BC. And we know we can gather historical information of the time that he was living in. But we're going to go on and find out that Job was a man that was extremely wealthy and prosperous. It's as if God had totally blessed him and just dumped out his blessings. And here's what it says about him. It says, and there were born to him 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he possessed 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and a very great body of servants, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. So Job had actually built up in his life an extreme amount of wealth. Now that's a lot of animals. Back then, animals showed your wealth. And you see that he had thousands of animals. He was very wealthy. He had all of these sons. He had daughters. And not only that, but he had servants. So this was the most wealthy man around. He had spent his life building up all of these things. And he goes on and it talks about how his sons and daughters would do certain things. They would have these feasts and they would be drinking wine, and he would be concerned. And he was even giving sacrifices and offerings, which is what the Hebrews did back then when there was sin, and he was trying to make atonement for his children. Now, here is what happens in the midst of all of his wonderful things going on in his life. Maybe that's like you. Maybe everything's going good today. Maybe you have a comfortable home and you've worked hard and everything seems to go just fine, and your health is okay and you're comfortable and all of these things are going on in your life. Well, that's how Job was. So let's see what happens. In verse 7 it says, and it says that Satan presented himself before the Lord, and the Lord said to Satan, from where did you come? Then Satan answered the Lord, from going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down on it. Now that's interesting, because we know that we actually have a real enemy today, and his name is Satan. Now, some of you who are not familiar with the scriptures may not know that Satan at one time was an angel, was actually a chief angel in heaven. Satan rebelled against God. Actually, it says that Satan has tried to ascend himself above God, tried to say that he will exalt himself above God. And so what happened was God removed him from heaven. God cast him down to earth, and he's been here on earth, and his number one job is to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what Jesus said, John chapter 10. He said that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So actually, You may not know this, but the devil is your personal enemy. And now this is made clear. It actually says in 1 Peter 5:8 that the devil roams around like a lion, seeking whom he may devour. Okay, so he's roaming around the earth. He's seeking who he may devour. When he left, he rebelled. And not only did he rebel, he took with him a third of the angels. You can read about this in Revelations. So now you've heard of demons, you've heard of the devil. Well, that's who you have here in Job chapter 1. Now, Satan is roaming the earth, walking to and fro. It says walking up and down it. Remember we read in 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8 that the devil roams the earth seeking who he may devour. Well, that's what he was doing. And the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in all the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and abstains from evil?" Now God had been watching Job, and he saw Job's heart. He describes him as righteous. He is doing all these acts that are righteous, and he's even giving sacrifices for his children when his children went to these parties, if you read above there, and they were getting drunk. And God is watching Job. Now I like to stop and think about this a lot. Some people kind of brush through this. I don't like to brush through because I'm thinking God is watching us. Isn't that amazing? He's watching us. He's actually watching you right now. He's watching you to see if you're an upright person, if you're not. He's watching me. And now there's somebody else that's watching us, and we just read that. It's the devil. So did you know that you're going through your day right now, and there is actually two beings watching you? God, and he's seeing if you're going to be righteous and fear him. And then there's the devil, and he's also seeing if you're going to be righteous and fear God or if you're not. So here is what the devil responds to God when God points him out. Satan answers the Lord, "Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not put a hedge about him and his house and all that he has on every side? You have conferred prosperity and happiness upon him in the work of his hand, and his possessions have increased in the land." He points out, and he's accusing Job now of just fearing God and serving God because God blesses him. And Satan says, "But put forth your hand now and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face." So the devil's telling God, he fears you because you've blessed him, but if you take away everything that you've given him, he'll curse you to your face, God. So here is God's response, and we're going to have to talk about this a little bit. God says, "And the Lord said to Satan, Behold, all that he has is in your power. Only upon the man himself put not forth your hand." So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. And there was a day when the sons and his daughters would gather together, and they would feast. And they were gathered together, and there came a messenger to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing, and the donkeys were feeding besides them, and the Sabeans," now these were enemies of their territory, "swooped down upon them and took away the animals. Indeed, they have slain the servant with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you this." So here's some news coming to Job that there was the Sabeans that swooped down, and they captured all of his donkeys that were feeding, and they killed his servants. While he was yet speaking, there came also another servant and said, "The fire of God, lightning, had fallen from the heavens and has burned up the sheep and servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to tell you." This is some bad news that's coming to Job. Now he has all of his other flocks of sheep, and it seems that lightning has come down from the sky and consumed them. While yet he was speaking, there came another servant, and they said, "The Chaldeans divided into 3 bands and made a raid upon the camels, and have taken them away, yes, and have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." This is all instantaneous destruction coming to all of Job's flocks and camels and donkeys and even his servants. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, Your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in the eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great whirlwind from the desert, and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young people, and they are dead, and I alone have escaped to tell you. Now he's hearing that all of his children were destroyed in a whirlwind. This is some devastating news that comes to Job, all at the same time. Let's listen to Job's response in verse 20. It says, Then Job arose and he rent his robe, and he shaved his head, and he fell down upon the ground, and he did what? He worshipped God. And he said, Naked came I into this world from my mother's womb, and naked shall I depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And in all this, Job sinned not and did not charge God foolishly. Now, that's amazing. I don't know what would happen to me. You can ask yourself, what would happen to you, and how would you handle that? If everything that you had was destroyed instantaneously, even people close to you, your own children destroyed, and yet Job, in the midst of all this suffering, is able to somehow say, I am not going to blame God. I am going to worship him. He gives me and he takes me away. I know he's God. But this is what happens sometimes when we go through sufferings. When we think that it gets really bad, sometimes it gets worse. Have you ever had that happen? When you maybe think that I can't take any more. This is really bad. But then just when you thought that, something else happens. I have seen this. I have seen it sometimes in my life. I have seen it in other people's lives. Well, we're going to find out that this is not the end of Job's suffering. Now, here's what happens again. Again, there was a day when Satan came before the Lord, and the Lord said to Satan, From where do you come from? And Satan again says he's walking to and from the earth. Remember, he's coming around seeking who he may devour. And the Lord said to Satan, Have you considered my servant Job? Here we go again. That he is blameless and upright man, and he fears God, and he abstains from evil. And here's what Satan says. Here it is. Job has withstand all of these onslaughts that Satan was permitted to bring against him. But now we have, then Satan answered the Lord, Skin for skin, yes, all that a man has, he will give for his life. But if you put forth your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, he will curse and renounce you to your face, God. And here's what the Lord said to Satan. Behold, he is in your hand, only spare his life. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord, and he did what? He smote Job with loathsome and painful sores from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. Now this is how bad it was. And Job took pieces of broken pottery and scraped himself as he sat down among ashes. He's sitting in ashes. Ashes is showing a sign of mourning, a sign of suffering. And he's actually covered with so many sores that he's having to use pottery to scrape himself. Now here's what his wife says. His wife says, Do you still hold fast your blameless uprightness? Renounce God and die. Now he's having his own wife say, just renounce God. Look at everything that's happened to you. You've lost everything now, and now look at you. You're covered with these sores. But he said to her, You speak as one of the impious and foolish women would speak. Shall we accept good at the hand of God, and shall we not accept misfortune? And what is it of a bad nature? In all of this, Job did not sin with his lips. That's amazing that God knew that Job could withstand this. When God told Satan, he's in your hands, just don't take his life, he's in your hands, and God allowed this suffering to happen, God knew, he knew Job's heart, that Job would not curse at God. But here is something that's very important for you to understand. We now go into the next many chapters of the book of Job, and what we find out is that some of his friends come to him. And when they come to him, they actually are appalled what they see, because Job is so disfigured from all of these boils and these sores that he's almost unrecognizable. And when they see him, they actually just sit down and they can't even talk for 7 days. This is a time of devastation in this man's life. His friends don't even know what to do with him. And they just sit there staring at each other. And what happens in the next many chapters is his friends try to talk with Job, and they try to figure out what is going on with Job, what is going on with our friend, and why is he going through all these sufferings. And here's what happens in the end. They cannot really ascertain what is going on. They did not know that in the beginning, God actually permitted this to happen, and there was a bigger reason why God allowed this to happen to Job. And if you read this whole book, it's amazing, because all of these friends go into long dissertations about God and his ways and how he is as God, and he's sovereign and he can do what he wants to, but they don't understand ultimately what is really going on, and that God actually has a purpose for our suffering. And so they go through this dissertation, and Job ends up not understanding fully either what's going on with him. And he responds, and they get into arguments, and they get into quarrels, and there's a back and forth as we read through the book of Job. And there ends up becoming, at times, Job is in despair. And he doesn't even know, why am I still going through all of this? And actually, if you look, you can see his struggles right in the middle of the book in Job chapter 23. And here is what Job says. He's been going through this for quite a while now. And in verse 2, he says, "Even today is my complaint rebellious and bitter. My stroke is heavier than my groanings. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, God, that I might come even to his seat." Now we're talking about the judgment seat of God. "I would lay my cause before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would learn what he would answer me and understand what he would say to me. Would he plead against me with his great power? No, he would give heed to me. There the righteous," meaning Job, talking about himself, "could reason with God, so I should be acquitted by my judge forever." Now Job is actually sharing in the middle of his suffering. He's saying, I want a hearing before God. I want a court hearing before God, because I have been living righteous, and here I am going through all these sufferings. And so there's struggle, and he's actually asking for a hearing before God. Now that's a pretty bold move when you think about asking for a hearing before the God of the universe. But it talks about Job's suffering, and he says, "My stroke is so heavy." But in the midst of this, Job says, "But he knows the way that I take. He has concern for it. He is paying attention to me. And when he has tried me, I shall come forth as refined gold." In the midst of his struggle, in the midst of his questioning, and why am I going through this? Let me just have a court hearing before God. He adds this thought, and he says, but wait a minute. I know that he sees me still, and when I go through this, I'm going to be refined like gold. When you think about gold, when gold is mined, gold is gone through the fire, and what happens is everything that is impure is burned away, and you're left with pure gold. And Job likens his suffering to being refined in the fire of God, that he is being melted. And so he doesn't totally understand it. Yes, he does want a court hearing, but at the same time, he has some acknowledgement. There is an inner struggle. And when you go through your sufferings, do you have this struggle and you're wrestling with what is going on with me? Why am I going through these things? And then you're trying to grab hold of that place in your heart where you know, but yet God, I know He's doing something, but what is it? And we see an inner struggle that Job goes through. And so many times we have seen that in our life, that there's this struggle of what is going on with me and why is this going on? But yet you know in your heart, well, God still sees me. There has to be something that He is refining me. And it talks about, and Job ends up saying, well, my foot has held fast to His steps. His ways have I kept. Job is saying, I'm still not going to turn away from Him, but yet I don't totally understand, and I'm struggling. And, you know, it says here that God is actually breaking me, he says in verse 16. For God has made my heart faint, timid, and broken before the Almighty, and He has terrified me. Have you been through things that actually make you feel broken in your heart? Have you been through things, Job says in Job 16, he says, I was living at ease, but Satan crushed me and broke me apart. Has there been times in your life when you have been living at ease, when you thought everything was going good, you were comfortable, and yet all of a sudden something happens to you and you feel broken? It says that in Job 23 verse 16, it says that God has made my heart soft. So we see here that Job is being melted, he is being broken, he is being made soft. Something is going on in Job's heart that has not occurred before. Yes, he was a righteous man and he was trying to do things right, but there was places in his heart where there was more to be done. Now, there's a lot going on as we read through this. We're in the middle of the book now, and he has just engaged in a dissertation and showing his true heart that he's going through a struggle. Now, we're going to go to Job 38, and there is a turning point. And after so much suffering and after so much discussion with his friends, and they cannot quite grasp what's going on, God shows up and God begins to speak. Now this is amazing, because isn't that good to know that when you're going through your suffering, and as you're going through it, there's going to come a time when you are going to hear exactly what is going on. Now here's what we find in Job 38. The Lord answered Job out of a whirlwind. Okay, now this is after he lost his livestock. He's lost his servants. He's lost his children. He's been afflicted with boils. He's been through immense suffering. And here it is. The Lord answers Job. And here's what he says. He says, gird up now your loins like a man, and I will demand of you, and you declare to me, where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Declare to me if you have and no understanding. Who determined the measures of the earth, if you know, or who stretched the measuring line upon it? And he goes on and he asks Job these questions about, where were you, Job, when I was forming the earth? And he goes on and he begins to talk about his great power, that God is the one who runs the universe and he is sovereign. And he knows what he's doing with every single aspect, and he goes into the details from the smallest animal to the largest thing that there is in the universe. God is sovereign and he knows what he's doing. And he says in verse 40, he says, moreover, the Lord said, shall he who would find fault with the Almighty contend with him? He who disputes with God, let him answer it. And he's telling Job, remember Job asked for a court hearing with God? He wanted to go to God and even contend with God and plead his case before God. And here is what God is responding to him. He said, should you find fault with the Almighty? And Job replied to the Lord, behold, I am of small account and vile. What should I answer you? I lay my hand upon my mouth. I have spoken once, but I will not reply again. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind, gird your loins now like a man, and I will demand of you that you answer me. Will you also annul my judgment? Will you condemn me, God, that you may appear righteous? And God is confronting something in Job. Remember, there was some challenging of Job in his heart and some questioning. God is confronting him about Job's understanding of who God really is. And there's times in our life when you think you may know who God is, but when God strips you, and when you go through trials and sufferings, when God actually takes away and allows you to undergo trials and troubles and things that are great, we sometimes find out that we don't always really know who God is, and we don't always really know who we are inside our heart. And it goes on, and let's look at Job chapter 42, after God speaks to Job and tells him who God really is. Then Job said to the Lord, I know that you can do all things, and that no thought or purpose of yours can be restrained or thwarted. And he goes on, he says, therefore I now see I have rashly uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. I had virtually said to you what I have only just heard with the ear. But now my spiritual eyes really sees who you are, God. I loathe my words, and I repent in dust and ashes. Now Job is coming to a place in his heart where he is really seeing God more than he has ever seen God before. There is this coming of realization of who God really is. That God is really almighty, that he is all powerful, that he is all knowing, that he is God. And Job is finding out that Job has been through the fire, and there was places in Job's life where he did not really know in the depths of who he was, who God himself is. And Job is finding out that Job did not know even things in Job's life. There were things in his life that he was doing. He says, I was just saying things about you from the hearing of the ear, but I didn't really know who you were. Yes, Job had these things that he was doing right. You may have things in your life that you're trying to do right, but did you realize that God wants to bring you to a place, to the core of who you are, that it's just you before God, and that you live a life where you are so aware that God, you are almighty and you are in control, and there's nothing I can do apart from you, and that your life is laid before God, where that all that matters is you and God and doing what he has for you. That's the place we see God bringing Job in his life. He says, I heard about you, but now I know you, and I repent. Sometimes we have to go through sufferings. Sometimes when God strips away the wealth from us, when God strips away your health, when God strips away all of your successes, all of your accomplishments, when he strips away all of the things that you have comfort in and you look to, you're left with who you really are. When you go through troubles, the greater the trouble and the testing, the greater you're going to find out what you're really all about. And God lets us go through these things because he knows in the end, it says in the Bible that there is no temptation that God will let us go through, that he doesn't give us the grace to endure and withstand. And whatever trouble you're going through right now, understand that God has a plan for it. And he wants you to turn your heart to him in the midst of it. And so there's three things we see from this that God wants to do in your life and my life. Number one, he wants to show you and I who we really are, our true character. Number two, he wants to humble us like never before, where we take away all of the things that we think that who we are and all of our accomplishments and all of what we rely on, and we cast it aside. And we realize that we are nothing without Him. And number 3, God wants to draw us to Him. He wants to draw us to Him. And He wants us to come into a place of knowing Him, truly knowing Him like never before. That's what God wants to do with us as we go through these sufferings. So we can know Him. We can come out through the fire like pure gold, like Job said. So I want to encourage you today. Let God bring you through your sufferings and your trials and bring you into pure gold, to a place of truly knowing who God is. Thank you for listening. This is Mark with Word of Faith Fellowship, and we are on this program Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 to 9. We have a website with all of our radio programs. They're videoed. You can go to wordoffaithfellowship.org and watch our radio programs. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
To try it at urgentprostate.com. Because of the rarity of the ingredients, I only have a limited supply of bottles on hand. Visit urgentprostate.com to get your 60-day supply right now before I run out. Remember, try my prostate formula for 60 days, and if it isn't everything I say it is, then I'll give you your money back, plus $100, all in accord with the simple, honest offer at urgentprostate.com. Urgentprostate.com. Urgentprostate.com.
President Trump today going after the latest Republican to jump into the 2020 race against him.
President Trump reacting on Twitter to the news that former South Carolina Governor and Congressman Mark Sanford will challenge him for the Republican nomination next year. The president did not go after Sanford on policy. Instead, he highlighted personal issues in Sanford's past, referencing an extramarital affair the South Carolina Republican had that turned into a political scandal. Announcing his bid on Sunday, Sanford said he thinks the Republican Party has lost its way. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
On average, every year, 38 kids die in hot cars across the country. So far this year, it has already happened 41 times.
In the routine of daily living, a moment of forgetfulness can lead to a lifetime of sorrow, says Jeanette Fennell, the president of Kids in Cars.
If you just even pop into autopilot for a moment when you're going to drop off the baby before going to work, that's all it takes.
Several automakers now offer passive dashboard reminders to check the back seat before leaving the vehicle. An option on some Hyundai SUVs senses whether a child or a pet is present after the driver steps out. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Pennsylvania couple is now facing felony charges after going on a $100,000 shopping spree. Investigators say Robert and Tiffany Williams saw $120,000 in their bank account, and instead of questioning how it got there, they started shopping. It turns out it was a teller's error. This is ABC News.
Did you know that the IRS is getting more aggressive these days? They're using private agencies to track you down. Don't wait. If you owe more than $10,000, take advantage of the Fresh Start Initiative, a program in place that can help you now. You can save thousands and possibly have your taxes forgiven. There's help for those of you who owe $10,000 or more, but it's important that you take action before these programs change. Call the tax experts at Oxford Tax Partners for a free consultation now at 800-575-1919. That's 800-575-1919.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
More than 1 million Americans have heart attacks each year, and if you or a loved one experiences symptoms of a heart attack, every second matters. Heart attack symptoms include discomfort, heaviness, or pain in the chest, arm, or below the breastbone. You may also experience sweating, nausea, dizziness, weakness, anxiety, or shortness of breath. At the first sign of a heart attack, you should call 911 and be treated immediately at the nearest hospital. The best time to treat a heart attack is within 1 to 2 hours of the first onset of symptoms. That's why the Emergency Department at Rutherford Regional Health System has become a chest pain accredited facility. That means quality care here at home that could save precious seconds when treating the symptoms of heart attack. To learn more about Rutherford Regional and its commitment to save quality care, visit myrutherfordregional.com.
100.9 FM and 590 AM, recommended by 3 out of 4 truck drivers. The fourth one? Well, he just stopped off for coffee. This is WCAB.
From ABC Sports, this is Rich Cantu, wrapping up the first Sunday of the 2019 NFL campaign. The defending champion New England Patriots quickly put to rest any talk of a possible Super Bowl hangover.
At the Patriot 42. Brady backs up, stands in. He's going to throw a long ball to a wide open Dorsett. He's going to hit him in stride to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Patriots!
On WBZ, the Patriots dismantled the Steelers 33-3. After a nearly 5-hour marathon, Rafael Nadal held off a late surge from Daniil Medvedev in 5 sets to capture his 4th U.S. Open title and 19th Grand Slam. Nadal moves within 1 of tying Roger Federer for the most men's Grand Slam titles with 20. He spoke about how he would like to be remembered.
I would love to be the one who have more, yes, but I will not. I really believe that I will not be happier or less happy if that happens or not happen.
This is ABC Sports. In other Week 1 action around the NFL, Cardinals rookie Kyler Murray rebounded in a big way after a rough start.
Murray back to pass, looking, throws it, middle of the field for Johnson, caught for a touchdown! Kyler Murray's first NFL touchdown, a beautiful throw to David Johnson.
On KTAR, Murray rallied to throw for 154 yards and 2 scores in the 4th quarter to force overtime with the Lions, but the comeback effort fell short as both teams settled for a 27-27 tie. In Dallas, Dak Prescott told the Cowboys to pay up.
Out of the gun, Prescott, play action, got a man wide open to the middle. That ball is caught by Jarwin at the 5, and he walks in easy.
On 105.3 The Fan, with talks of a max contract extension looming, Prescott finished with 405 yards passing and 4 TDs in a 35-17 rout of the Giants. To baseball, the Yankees set a new mark.
Swung on, there it goes deep left field. That ball is high, it is far, it is gone into the monster seats. A Judgian blast.
On WFAN, Judge's 5th inning blast sets a new franchise record for the most home runs in a single season with 268. Yankees top the Red Sox 10-5. Following the game, Boston announced it had parted ways with President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski, just a year removed from their World Series title. This is Rich Cantu, ABC Sports.
Good Monday morning. Another hot day in the forecast with highs climbing into the upper 80s to lower 90s this afternoon. Partly sunny skies are expected today with some scattered storms developing by the afternoon and evening. An isolated storm can't be ruled out overnight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with lows in the upper 60s to lower 70s. And tomorrow, partly sunny with a 20% chance of a storm. Highs tomorrow climb into the upper 80s to lower 90s. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Weather Center.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update.
The Braves weren't able to finish off their sweep at SunTrust Park on Sunday. I'm Grant McCauley, and your Atlanta Braves Radio Network morning update is coming up.
Enjoy all the perks SunTrust Park has to offer by becoming a Braves A-List member. Learn more at Braves.com/A-List.
Mike Soroka and Max Scherzer locked up in the finale of a 4-game series, and it was Washington that came out with a 9-4 victory over Atlanta. Scherzer allowed just 1 run over 6 innings, coming on this Matt Joyce home run.
Pitch all the way to Joyce. This one's hit well to deep right field. This one's sailing back through the sky at the wall. Long gone. Matt Joyce hits one over the right field wall. And the Braves are on their board with the first run of the ball game as they now trail it 3-1, but they hit a home run and make it a 3-1 contest on the 7th home run of the year out of Joyce. and his second of the series.
Scherzer was in control and struck out 9 over 6 innings to help the Nats salvage the finale. The Braves took 3 out of 4 and have a 9-game lead in the NL East standings. Monday, the Braves and Phillies will open up a 4-game series as Mike Foltynewicz will take on Aaron Nola. First pitch at Citizens Bank Park is set for 7:05, 6:05 Central. I'm Grant McCauley with your Atlanta Braves Radio Network Morning Update.
Your number one source for used, damaged, insurance auction, rebuildable auto parts, Robbins Auto Parts, 1875 Harris Henrietta Road, Henrietta. Robbins Auto Parts is a family-owned and operated business by Marty and Terry Robbins. Professional experience in auto parts since 1960. Call on Robbins Auto Parts, 657-5732, or visit them at www.robbinsautoparts.com.
Get news, sports, weather, and local streaming from our website at www.wcab59.com. WCAB, the only radio station you should ever need.